Good morning, guys. It is Friday, February 10th, 2023. It's about 6:45 a.m. This is Bathrobe Business. I'm George Yoganov. As you can see, my environment's a little bit different today. I'm not going to get into why, but that's also kind of why I haven't been posting videos most of the week. It seems the further I go, the less diligent I get with these posts. But hopefully, as some of these problems in my personal life subside, some health problems with some family, I'm going to get a little bit better with it. So let's get into it. Let's start with just general market. The market is slightly down. The Dow is down. S&P is down. Nasdaq is down. My favorite indicator of all time, gold, is remaining below 1900, which is good. Still high, but definitely better than where it's been for weeks now. So I know I was all doom and gloom for something's coming in February. I guess nothing's coming in February. Absolutely nothing. For those that watch my channel regularly, as you know, I don't buy gold. I don't sell gold. I have no involvement in gold. I'll never tell you to buy birch gold. I just look at gold as a very interesting indicator. It's been a really strong indicator of something economically strong looming, whether it's good or bad. When the economy is doing very well, gold is on the down. When the economy is doing poorly, the gold market is gold prices are up. So that's why I always look at it as an indicator. So that's good that it's starting to fall, and hopefully it continues. But let's get into the main stories of the day. And we're going to cover a few stories from this week because, like I said, I've been kind of absent. And then I'll share a business idea I'm going to have and I'm probably going to implement, hopefully personally, here in the next couple of months. Let me cover up some of my cleavage there. All right, let's get into it. So, big announcement. Microsoft. This is one we talked about at the beginning of the week. This wasn't a surprise. We were anticipating this big announcement from Microsoft, their partnership with OpenAI and Chat GPT. They're announcing that Chat GPT is going to be integrated into Bing. It's going to be integrated into Microsoft Edge, as well as other commercial products. So they're going to be creating custom chatbots for corporations, government, schools, for kind of quick answers. Q&A sections are essentially going to be replaced with this, where if you have a question, if it's a customer service question, a technical support question, they're going to have this software essentially that your company can have in order to deal with a lot of these issues. It's very interesting. We'll see how well that works. Honestly, I was a little underwhelmed by the announcements. Kind of like I talked about before, I feel like integrating OpenAI into Microsoft Office would be a game changer. It would be a game changer for work. It would be a game changer for school. It would be a game changer for research. There's literally probably no reality that it would not affect. It would completely change life in business and school and environment as we know it. Whether you're integrating into Excel, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, it would have powerful repercussions. And I know there's software out there that can kind of do this. There's software out there that can use AI systems to create PowerPoint presentations, a little bit here and there with Excel, but there's nothing really that's commercial grade for the layman. Let's not forget that even though you can find something online, most consumers aren't going to use it unless it's already in the suite of products that they're purchasing or they're accustomed to using, right? You have to make it simple. And Microsoft has always been a leader in having very simple software that's integrated into their Windows family. And nobody talks about, I guess Firefox, Mozilla is still around, but famously, Microsoft took out Netscape because they just integrated Internet Explorer into their software, right? They kind of squeezed out the competition. Same thing with companies like WordPerfect. That was a big one back in the day for, Word documents. Now everything is Microsoft Word. WordPerfect, I don't think it even exists anymore. And so Microsoft has always used this by integrating, new software into their suite of products. And I was expecting that kind of announcement. I knew search was going to come because they're heading head to head with Google. This isn't a secret. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody can see the writing on the wall that they are gunning for Google. And I think Google has a lot of reason to be afraid. This is definitely an incredibly powerful tool that attacks them at their core, right? This is still Google's primary source of business and really their few profitable branches. Like YouTube is historically unprofitable for Google. All of their other ventures are oftentimes loss leaders. And search is still how they make money. And this is a direct attack. There's chatter. There's not even chatter. It's pretty much open into the markets now that Google has its own AI system that they're, launching, using internally, testing in beta. But it's one thing to have a software, and it's another thing to have a software that works. We've talked in my previous video a couple of days ago about how Google has had a whole host of failed products. Even though Google is this behemoth, they're not necessarily that great at implementing new software and new ideas. We talked about Google Glass. We talked about Google Plus. Honestly, I think Google Plus was just such a disaster. And that would have been such an easy fight to win because Facebook was still young. Social media was still a young industry. There was new software and new programs every single day. Facebook itself was the third biggest on the market, right? You had MySpace before, you had Friendster before, and Google couldn't win that fight. They lost miserably. And I think this might be another example of them having to be out-competed and getting out-competed by Chat GPT. Now, I don't think it's going to replace all search, right? Just because there's internet doesn't mean people don't listen to radio, but it's definitely going to undercut their market and their profits. So we'll see what happens with their software when it launches, how competitive it will be, how good it will be. But honestly, I think it's going to be a disaster, kind of like their other launches with their other ancillary and new products that are supposed to revolutionize things. They're not as good at innovation as they claim. They really are. Besides the fact that they breed this culture, I think there's something to be said that certain innovations, certain revolutions can only come from startups. There's a culture behind it. There's a mindset behind it. There's a liberty behind it that just doesn't come in established corporations. And remember, Microsoft did not develop Chat GPT. Chat GPT is a startup. Now, there's some big names behind it. Elon Musk was involved. Peter Thiel, I think, was involved. So there's definitely big historical names involved. But it was still a startup. It's a new company. Microsoft just poured billions into it. And actually, interestingly enough, Microsoft does all of the cloud processing on the back end. So that's why Microsoft is also partnered so closely, is because it takes a ton of cloud computing in order to process a lot of the searches and a lot of the functions of ChatGPT. And that's the interesting part. So it costs ChatGPT, or I guess Microsoft, since Microsoft is the one hosting and running everything, it costs them several cents for every, I don't know if you'd call it search, transaction, function, but every time I type something into ChatGPT and it runs a function for me, it costs several cents in energy, just the computing power alone. It's incredibly power intensive. So that seems fine, but ChatGPT is set to cross about 100 million users probably by the end of the month. So it's essentially losing millions of dollars every month. And if this thing continues to grow, it's going to keep losing money every single month. If this crosses a threshold to 200 million, 300 million, 400 million, what's going to happen? So that's going to be very interesting to see what comes of this. I think this is going to spur a lot of new innovation in hardware. I know everybody always looks to software, right? Nobody's really paid attention to hardware in a long time, but that's kind of changed, right? Because hardware people all of a sudden started paying attention to when Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies became a thing. All of a sudden, mining needed all these powerful graphics demands, all these new chips, and the market just was flooded with money of people just buying, and it spurred a ton of innovation. I think this is going to happen for ChatGPT as well. I think there's going to be a company that comes along that's going to be very innovative with how their cloud storage works, with how their processing speeds work, new, more efficient chips, probably new cooling systems. There's going to be a lot of innovation behind this, and I think it's going to be obviously on the software industry, but the back end of it, the hardware, I think is going to be massive. You know, if you're a electrical engineer, any type of computer scientist, I think this is a very interesting field to go to just because it's going to be so technical. There's more and more chip manufacturing that's coming back to the U.S. It's going to be in the U.S. A lot of it also is a little bit of optics because a lot of the companies aren't necessarily going to be on the bleeding edge of innovation with these chips. A lot of them are current generation chip, or a lot of these factories that are being built are for current generation chips. Obviously you need to be looking ahead and into the future, but still, something is better than nothing, and that's kind of how it starts, right? You have to crawl before you can run. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with a lot of this hardware, because if this continues, the energy demands are huge. The cost to run this is going to be huge. So something's got to be done. Something's got to be done as far as the innovative side on the hardware. But back to the point at hand. So they announced this partnership with Chat GPT. They're going to have, obviously, like I said, integration with Bing, integration with Microsoft Edge, and personal chatbots and personal AI that you as a company can purchase. They will, I don't know if it's going to be a custom build or if it's probably going to be almost like Squarespace, where you're going to go in, select kind of your industry. It's going to be healthcare. It's going to be, the software. It's going to be Comcast, IP provider, something like that. It's going to be just kind of a set of products that you can choose from, purchase it, and there you go. You can integrate it into your website or customer service phone calls and things like that. I mean, we'll see how well it works. I mean, I've played with a little bit of Chat GPT just for literally seconds just to see what it could do. It seems fun. I don't know how well it's going to work when, my internet is down and I'm calling Comcast trying to figure out what's going on, how satisfied I'm going to be with the answers of the bot. But, maybe I am completely wrong. Maybe it's going to be completely innovative. It's going to be quick and efficient because I don't have to wait for a representative to tell me I need to reset my router. The robot will just tell me to do that. But we'll see how well that integrates. To me, that's not a huge innovation just because, online customer service, those old bots you've talked to for probably, 20, 30 years now. Like when I was a kid, they were around. You would say, customer service, accounting, blah, blah, blah. Those are still around. We'll see. This might be a game changer, but I thought it was a little underwhelming. I thought they were going to announce bigger integration with Microsoft Office and a lot that can be done on that side with, like I said, PowerPoint, Excel, Word, OneNote. I thought this was going to be a real game changer. Now, that could be coming. You want to keep your powder dry. You don't want to announce everything all at once. So maybe that will be what happens here in the near future. Maybe also the software and the programming just isn't there yet, right? I might be too optimistic. I'm not a computer scientist. I'm not an expert in AI. So that could be, another 10 years before we'll see that. It's just a little surprising seeing as how, like I said, there are companies and softwares online that can do like simple AI PowerPoints for you and AI scripts and things like that. So I thought that would have come. But it is what it is. It's very interesting. I think the energy demands are very interesting. Me personally, I did announce at the beginning of this video, I did say at the beginning of the video that I'm going to be trying to use more AI systems in my business. So I would kind of outline my idea. It hasn't been fleshed out yet, but this is something I kind of want to do. So what I'm planning to do is, for a while, I've wanted to have almost a press department, an internal kind of advertising / information department in our companies that just talk about new things we're doing, innovations we're doing, and almost just have like a little blog page on our websites, a little journal page on our websites where we're posting news and articles about our companies, new equipment we're buying, new ventures we're going into, new products we're launching. And I'm going to probably use Chat GPT for that, just because it's so much quicker, right? I can sit there and I can write the article and post it, or I could tell Chat GPT, write this article for me. It pumps it out in a couple minutes. I post it. It saves a lot of time. I'm going to be personally, hopefully, doing that this year. We revamped one of our websites last year for one of our businesses. Actually, no, I lied. It was 2 years ago. Time flies. But then one of our main web companies, the website is super outdated, needs to be updated, and I'm probably going to integrate a little bit of AI systems into that. Hopefully when I do that, I'll have a video on it to show you guys. I think it's very interesting. I think it's probably the direction a lot of companies are going to go for, especially big ones. But I think this is kind of a game changer for smaller companies. If you're not good at copywriting, if you were never good at, writing news and articles about your company or kind of advertising yourself, I think this will be a great option for you because it's free and you don't have to hire anyone to write anything for you. So I think this is a bigger game changer for smaller corporations than it is for larger corporations. It's kind of the democratization of a new industry, which is, I guess, the point of technology, right? You take something that was exclusive to only the wealthy, and all of a sudden you bring it down a tier. Now everybody can do it. So I think that a lot of smaller businesses are going to take advantage of it, as they should. That's kind of the big stories. I'm just going to cover a couple of little ones. Jerome Powell came out. He had it was a luncheon, a seminar, a speech that he gave in front of a whole host of economists in Washington, D.C. earlier this week. I think it was on Tuesday. He announced pretty much what we talked about in previous videos. He is probably going to raise rates more aggressively. His exact quote was, "If we continue to get, for example, strong labor reports or higher inflation reports, it may well be the case that we have to do more and raise rates more than is priced in." So, sorry, I fumbled through that more than I should have. Yeah, so not surprising, right? He raised it by 0.25%. Then we got those monster job numbers. He's going to be raising rates more aggressively. If February's rates of inflation are where they have been, not a huge decrease, if jobs reports are very strong, I honestly think that the job reports are going to be a bigger play just based off of what he said, right? For him, it's not necessarily just inflation. Obviously, that's what's spurring it. But he has clearly said he wants to see a slowdown or a recession. He wants to see the job market cooling. So for him, I think that those job numbers are going to play into it more than the recession numbers. Recession, it's kind of a BS number. You know, there's stuff that is played into the calculation. There's stuff that isn't played into the calculation. You don't have to listen to me. You can go online, just do a quick Google search of how well you can trust inflation numbers, and you'll quickly discover that the numbers, I don't want to say are manipulated, but the formulas to calculate them are incredibly simple. Take a bunch of prices, calculate the average, there's your inflation number. That's a very simple calculation. It's much more dynamic than that. There's local markets, there's national trends. Simply to take a law of averages does not truly reflect real inflation, especially when you're not including things like gas, cars, homes, and a lot of calculations don't take that into account. So I think the job number is going to play more into what he's going to do here in the next couple of months. In addition, we've got Zoom laying off 15% of its workforce, approximately 1,300, another tech company. Yahoo is laying off 1,600 people by year end, starting this week. I guess they're going to do it in cycles. I mean, not huge surprise. Yahoo has been a problem for a while. And finally, last two stories, Vietnamese electric car maker VinFast, which I've never heard of, said that it is planning to open U.S. plants and is on track for production, domestic U.S. production by 2024. I couldn't really find any articles to see if they're going to be launching here in the U.S. or if this is just the manufacturing sphere and they're mostly Vietnam-based. All I could tell you is that they're Vietnam's first electric car maker. We'll see. I think that's very interesting for the industry, period, whether they sell into American markets or not. A lot of this is going to be global markets as well, just because of lithium prices, cobalt prices, things like that. So it's very interesting to see where that goes. And another U.S. manufacturer, so there's nothing bad about that. Last story is Russia retaliates, announces oil cuts. They're going to be cutting, I believe, 500,000 barrels a day. Let me double check that real quick because I know that's a massive number, but I believe that is what they're going to be cutting on. And it looks like I lost my article. But yeah, it looks like they're going to be cutting production of oil in response to sanctions. Not too surprising. This is almost kind of surprising that it's come so late in the game, but I think it also because oil prices are down. So because of that, they're going to cut production, global oil prices go up, and et cetera, et cetera. I know people will say, well, nobody's buying from Russia. Yeah, well, it's still a global market. Somebody's buying from Russia. India, China still are. And in addition, I'm sure through some back channels, there's stuff still flowing. Plus, I don't believe that Germany ever fully cut ties with Russia. They just reduced their output. So this is still going to help Russia in their war with Ukraine, whether we like it or not. That's pretty much it. That's the major stories I was going to cover today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, I'm getting some feedback over here on my microphone. But hope you guys have a great day, a great weekend. Hope you set amazing goals. Hope you meet those goals. Hope you have a good Valentine's Day weekend. I've got some big plans with my girlfriend. We're going to do something every night of the week. That'll be fun. And I'll see you guys back Monday morning, hopefully with new market news. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.